My current mood is hungry and ready to get to dinner, so let's get started on these questions so I can do that. Hi everyone, Rosie here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're feeling happy, but all moods are accepted here. Today I am doing the Moody Reader tag. I was tagged by Kim of Bookmarks and Breadsticks, and the original is by Slanted Spines. Both of those channels will of course be linked down below. Make sure you check them out because they are both fantastic. I'm finally giving in to the peer pressure to tag people at the beginning of the video. This is a trend that was started by Scott and Nell of Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. They'll be linked down below. And also, I haven't checked. I'm not prepared right now. I apparently didn't plan who I was going to tag in this, so I don't know who has done this or not. It's a pretty popular tag, so a lot of people have probably done it already. Okay, I'm going to tag a bunch of people, and if you've already done this, I'm sorry, I should have checked. Obviously, no pressure to do it again. If you haven't done it and you don't want to, no pressure to do it even if I do tag you, and if I don't tag you and you want to do it, definitely do this tag. Okay, since I'm tagging at the beginning, let's do Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. I know Nell is a mood reader, so they've probably already done this, but in the case they haven't, I would love to hear their thoughts. Oh, again, she's probably already done it, but I'm gonna tag Lady Jane Books because I know she tends to be a really big mood reader. Did I maybe see her do this very recently? Very possibly, but I'm gonna tag her anyways, and if she has done it, just go watch her video on her channel. And I'm gonna tag Amy of Potato Brarian because I know she has told me before and just mentioned in her videos that she is so much of a mood reader that if she sets a TBR, she will read nothing from it. So I'm gonna tag her as well. And let's get into the questions. Question 1 is, do you consider yourself a mood reader? I've thought about this a lot and actually talked about this a fair bit on my channel already. I will link my Pile of Possibilities versus TBR video up here. Short answer is no. Definitely not. I do sometimes do what I consider mood reading, which is just pick up a random book that's not on my TBR because I'm in the mood to read it. But I'm definitely not a mood reader in the sense that I feel constricted or stressed out by a TBR or like I want to just pick my next book based on mood all the time. I really enjoy having the structure of a TBR. I really like planning my reading in advance, and I actually find it kind of stressful sometimes to sit in front of the entire list of 200 books that I own and want to read and try and pick the next one. I'd much rather pick 10 that I'm gonna read next month. That's just a lot easier for me. Question 2 is, do you set TBRs and do you stick to them? Well, I guess I sort of answered that already a little bit. Yes, I set a TBR basically every month. I've dabbled with not having one and it doesn't really work out very well for me. I don't always post a TBR video. Most months I do, but not every month. Sometimes I just have like an unofficial one that I keep in the same notes app in my phone, but like I don't publish it, so if I deviate it doesn't matter. But almost every month I've got a list of books that I want to read, and I don't know how I would not do that because every month there are like readathons I want to participate in, or buddy reads I want to do, or books that I want to read because they're related to some certain thing that's happening in that month. Maybe this is just the type of person I am. Even if I try not to set a TBR, I still find myself putting like books on that list of like, oh, and I should read that, and I should read that. So I think it's just the kind of reader I am. Although, until I started BookTube, I never set a TBR. So it's only in the last year that I've really started doing that. Oh, and as for whether or not I stick to them, mostly. When I'm recording this in June, I'm sort of very off TBR for this month by my standards, but in general, I read most, if not all, of the books on my TBR, plus maybe a couple extras. Question 3 is, do books affect you emotionally? Does the mood of a book rub off on you? For the most part, I don't think so. At least in the sense where if I'm reading a sad book, I don't usually feel sad for the rest of the day. Some books are harder to read because the mood or the content, in the sense that if I'm reading about something really awful or tragic or something, it can be harder to make myself read it and to like sit with that emotion while I'm reading, but not because it's going to ruin the rest of my day. Just because sometimes I'm like, I don't want to feel anything negative even for a short period. Question 4 is, When you're sad, what do you read? Or do you not read at all when you're sad? I definitely don't read sad books when I'm sad. If I'm feeling down, I definitely don't want to read anything that's going to make me feel more down. So usually I will reach for something funny or comforting or light and just that I know is going to make me feel good. That's usually either a reread. There's like 2 series. You guys know what's coming. Discworld and Phryne Fisher. When I'm sad, I read one of those. Or when I'm anxious, or when I'm tired, or when I'm burnt out. Just whenever I just need something easy and comforting and like lovely, I read one of those. Or sometimes I'll read a new book, but from an author that I know I'm going to feel that way with. A series like the Phryne Fisher series, something like that, where I know exactly what to expect from the writing, from the plot. Obviously, I don't know the events of that specific book, but there's no surprises, there's no surprise twist. I guess another one like that would be Agatha Christie. I really, really like reaching for one of her books when I'm feeling down because, again, it just comes back to that consistency. Even with those ones, if I haven't read it, which I haven't read most of them yet, I just know what to expect. Question 5 is, most often are you reading to escape, to learn, or to critically reflect? All of those? Definitely all of those, but not at the same time. Different books serve different purposes in my life. Some books are very escapist, fun, just not thinking about anything, and those are awesome. Some books are super like, wow, learning a lot, whether that's nonfiction or fiction, exposed to new situations, exposed to new people, exposed to new information. I love those kinds of books. I definitely like books that make me think critically. There is, of course, overlap between those. It's not like any one book can only fall into one category, but I certainly don't expect every book I read to meet all 3 of those. That would be pretty impossible, I think. Certainly for the number of books that I want to read in a year. Question 6 is, what is a book that made you laugh out loud? This is a really recent read for me, actually. I read it earlier this spring, and it is Truegurt by David Hunt. This is the 2nd volume in his unauthorized history of Australia, and it is fabulously funny. I laughed so much while reading this and also learned so much. So see, it doesn't have to be one or the other. This is an incredibly informative book, but also just so snarky about everything, and I loved it. Question 7 is, what is a book that made you cry? Or if you don't cry, one that really moved you? I'm going to include a book that I'm currently avoiding reading, and that is Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. It didn't make me cry. As I mentioned the other week in my mid-year book freakout tag up here if you want to watch that. I'm not really much of a crier, but wow, Freshwater, it's not tears or like close to crying, but like definitely has had such a strong emotional impact as I'm reading it, which is why I'm not reading it. I started listening to it at the beginning of June. We're now in the manyth week of June. I don't know if it's the 3rd or 4th week at this point, but we're well into June when I'm filming this, and I haven't listened to it for like 2 weeks because I want to finish it and I want to love it, but I know it's gonna have so many negative feelings that it like conjures up in me that it's just really hard to make myself listen to it. Question 8 is, what is a book that you didn't even know how you felt about it? I've ranted a lot about these books in wrap-ups over the last couple months, but Dreadful Company and Grave Importance by Vivian Shaw, the 2nd and 3rd books in her Dr. Greta Helsing series, I just don't know how to feel about them. And that's actually the appropriate explanation. There are so many things about these books that I don't like that much, or that I don't think were well done, or that I think could have been done so much better. But also there are so many things about these books that I love, and so much potential in these books, as I think why I don't know how to feel about them. It's not just that they're not great books. That's fine. I can deal with that and move on. It's that I read these books and I see the bones of what could be absolutely incredible books. Just don't quite reach that point. So it's very hard to know how I feel about them. Question 9 is, are you more likely to read on a sunny day or a cloudy day? And both. As most people who answer this tag say, like, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I read no matter what the weather is, every day, pretty much. Question 10 is, do you set the mood when you read? Lights, smells, music, etc. I know a lot of people laugh at this book, and a lot of people make the joke of, oh, haha, am I reading the book or am I seducing it? And yes, I get it. It's kind of funny, but also I genuinely do set the mood sometimes. Probably 95% of the time when I read, I'm just sitting down either on the couch or in bed or outside or wherever with my Kindle and reading. And if it's really dark in the room, I'll turn on like a side lamp and that's about it. But I also get what this question is asking, because sometimes it's really nice to take reading and make it feel really special. So yeah, if I have an evening where I'm just like, hey, it's a Sunday evening and it's after dinner at 7:30 or something, and I'm just gonna relax and read all evening, yeah, I'll light some candles. Usually not scented ones because I buy them, but I can't burn them because they smell nice. So I just light regular candles and I'll make it cozy. And I like to put on ambient music playlists, either just something really generic like Cozy Cafe or Cozy Library, or sometimes if I can, I'll find something that's related to the book that I'm reading and put that on. So I've got not music, but like background noise, because at least where I live, my house is pretty quiet. I don't hear a lot of street noise or neighbors or frankly even my partner most of the time. So it's really nice sometimes to have just like almost white noise, but not white, background noise. That's the word. There's a word for this, and it is background noise. So it's nice to have that, so it's not just sitting in a quiet room. It almost helps me get more immersed in the story to have a little bit of something going on in the background. Plus, you know, who doesn't like to make a fun snack and make it just like feel special? Maybe I'm weird in this, but especially in this past year, I will take any opportunity to make an ordinary activity feel just a little bit extra, a little bit something nicer, a little bit more of a treat for myself than what I do every day of the week. So yes, sometimes I do set the mood, and this has been far too much information about that. Question 11 is, can you leap from book to book, or do you need time between them? I'm 100% team leaping. That's partly because I don't ever have a gap when I've finished one book and I'm not reading anything and I'm about to start another. I always have overlap. I'm usually reading probably between 2 to 5 books at a time, with an average of 3 or 4 would be my guess. I don't track these stats that closely, so I can't say for sure. I'm always reading many books. So if I finish one book, it's not like I'm not reading anything and then I start another one. It's, oh, I finished one, so now I'm reading 3 and then I'll start another and I'm back to 4. Does that make sense? And I usually read multiple books within the span of a day as well. So for example, I might listen to an audiobook while I'm out for a walk in the morning or something, and then in the evening after work, after dinner, I might sit down and make progress on something that I'm trying to really focus on reading. So something where maybe I've got a buddy read coming up, so I want to like actually really pay attention and make sure I'm absorbing it so we can discuss, or something where I want to write a review, so I want to like take notes and like I take notes, they're all on my phone. Something where I want to like pay attention to the book a lot, and I might read that for an hour, and then maybe before bed I want something to just read and relax and feel like I'm just reading this to enjoy it. I don't need to worry about catching everything or taking notes of everything I notice, so I'll have another book on the go for then. And that's how reading works best for me. I couldn't sit down and read every day 2 or 3 hours of one book, but half an hour to an hour of 3 books, totally doable. That being said, I do sometimes need to take a break between reading another book of the same genre. For example, if I read a really amazing, beautiful, hard-hitting literary fiction type book, and it's amazing and I love it and I finish it, I don't necessarily want to read another book just like that right away. Usually I'll want to wait a few days or a week or more before I start another book that's similar and just read other types of books in the meantime. So let me know down below, are you guys mood readers? How do you guys feel about all this? I'm fascinated to hear. And also, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up down below. If you would like to see more of my videos, please hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.